My name's Jillian Arnold, and this is my husband, Donald.
We have two amazing children, Roman, who's 2.5 years old, and Stella, who's 17 months.
Both of our kids have been diagnosed with a very rare genetic disorder called ASMD, otherwise known as Niemann-Pick disease. Roman, he is our firstborn, and he was the first grandchild on both sides of the family, so he is just like everyone's, pride and joy. He has the most beautiful crystal blue eyes and just the sweetest smile you've ever seen. He's just the most gentle soul.
Stella's a firecracker. She's fierce and driven, but also has this sweet and snuggly side as well. I still remember the first time I got to hold Stella, and I'm looking down at her, and I'm seeing these big brown eyes stare back at me. And it was like that moment where I feel like time just froze. It was just instantly, I fell in love with my daughter. She has such a driven, fierce personality, and she's just so amazing. She also has a goofy side to her, and it is just a special bond that I feel like I get to have with her, and I love her so much.
Roman was a fairly normal developing baby. He was a little on the smaller side, but his pediatrician was never really concerned with it until we went in for his 6-month well visit. She was doing his physical examination, and she told us it felt like his liver was enlarged. So she sent us to get testing, which led to more testing, and eventually a genetic panel that confirmed his ASMD diagnosis. The day we received Roman's diagnosis was hands down the scariest day of our life. We felt like our world had completely shattered, and to make things even more complicated, we found out just 3 days prior that we were expecting our second child. So not only did we have this new terrifying diagnosis for our brand new son, but we now knew that there was a 25% chance that our daughter could inherit the same gene mutations. We had Stella tested at birth, and she was diagnosed a month later, and our worlds came crashing down again. We couldn't believe that this has happened for a second time. ASMD, otherwise known as Niemann-Pick disease, is a lysosomal storage disorder. People with ASMD are missing the enzyme that is needed to break down a certain lipid called sphingomyelinase. Over time, the sphingomyelin builds up in cells throughout the body and eventually causes cell death and malfunction of major organ systems. There are two ends of the spectrum within ASMD. There's a type B end of the spectrum, which is going to be more mild symptoms, and it just affects organs from the neck down, like the liver, spleen, and lungs. And then there's a type A end of the spectrum, which is going to be more severe and affects the brain in addition to the other major organ systems. Type A causes rapid neurodegeneration, almost like a baby Alzheimer's. Children with type A typically don't live past the age of 3. Roman was the happiest baby.
He was always smiling. He was very social. He had the sweetest little squeaky giggle, and he just would light up the room. He really would.
Over the past year and a half, we've watched him slowly regress from just the happiest boy who's so full of life to a toddler who can no longer sit up on his own or barely lift his arm to turn the page of a book. I can't explain how devastating it is to, as a parent, to watch our son like lose skill after skill, day after day, and then to sit here and watch our beautiful, independent daughter and wonder every day, is this the day that she'll start to regress? After he was diagnosed, we obviously were devastated, completely devastated for days, weeks, really. I just crawled into a dark hole and I didn't know if I would find my way out. And then you just get to a point where you're like, no, we can't accept this. Like, I am gonna do everything in my power as his mother to protect him and find him treatment. And if it's not out there, we will get it. Yeah, we ended up getting him approved after, a year-long battle, getting him approved for an enzyme replacement therapy that is not FDA approved yet, but was in clinical trials, and it was showing amazing results with children with ASMD at, reversing damage done from the neck down. So, we're gonna start here. Let's start with this. It unfortunately does not cross the blood-brain barrier, so it won't do anything to stop the progression of his neurological disease. The good news is that there are some incredible doctors and scientists that are extremely close to having treatment available that has been shown to rapidly slow down or even stop the progression of their neurological disease. The only issue and reason that it's not available for our kids now is purely because of funding and lack of public awareness. My hope for the future is to see my children be able to enjoy their childhood rather than spend it at a hospital. I want their outings to consist of zoo visits and birthday parties and playing with their cousins rather than MRIs, CT scans, and blood draws. I'm longing for the day when I can hold my son without tubes and wires connected to him. I long for the day when I can sit at the dinner table with my kids and watch them eating and enjoying food and talking about our days. And I'm longing for the day when I can hear them say, "I love you." We just want to see doctors and researchers devote their time and funding into developing an effective treatment or cure for this disease because my children deserve it. My hope for the future is that someday, very soon, this will be a manageable disease and not a death sentence. Your donation will help get us there and give hope to us and so many other families like us, whose children also deserve a chance at life.
Please donate what you can and help us share our story. Please help us save Roman and Stella.